Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Study with Aman. In today's video, we are going to explore a beautiful and heart-touching chapter from Class 9, How I Taught My Grandmother to Read by SUDHA Murty. So stay with me till the end. Let's get started. What if your grandmother touched your feet one day and called you her teacher? Isn't it strange? Or maybe emotional? Today, I'm going to tell you a real life story written by SUDHA Murty, a story that proves that age is just a number when it comes to learning. So let's begin the beautiful journey of how I taught my grandmother to read. SUDHA Murty is a famous Indian writer and social worker. She writes simple, heart-touching stories based on real experiences. And yes, this story is from her own childhood. When Sudha was a little girl, she lived in a village in Karnataka with her grandparents. Her grandmother had a deep love for stories. And in those days, Triveni was a highly popular writer in Kannada, and the entire village would impatiently wait for the weekly magazine Karmavira. Everyone was excited because her novel Kashi Yatri was being published in it as a serial. The story of the novel Kashi Yatri revolves around an old woman who had a strong desire to visit Kashi and worship Lord Vishweshwar to receive his divine blessings. It was her lifelong dream. However, in the end, the old woman made a great sacrifice. When a poor young girl who had fallen in love couldn't afford her wedding, the old woman gave away all her savings for the girl's marriage. She chose kindness and humanity over her own dreams of going to Kashi. Deeply impressed by Kashi Yatri, the author's grandmother, Krishtaka, would keenly wait for her granddaughter to read each new episode aloud. She listened with great interest, often relating herself to the main character. Soon she could repeat entire passage by heart. However, she felt sad that she had never gone to school and could not read the story on her own. Later, she would meet her friends at the temple park and proudly discuss the latest episode, narrating it from her memory. So every week, Sudha would sit beside her grandmother and read the story aloud to her. The grandmother listened with great excitement. Now here comes the turning point. One day, Sudha had to attend a wedding in a nearby village. She stayed there for a week. During that time, a new episode of Kashi Yatri was published. After Sudha returns from enjoying a week-long wedding with her cousins, she finds her grandmother in tears. When she asks her what the matter was, the grandmother expresses her grief of getting married very early and therefore not getting a chance to receive an education. She felt helpless, dependent, disappointed. For the first time, she realized how painful illiteracy was. She was 62 years old, and yet she could not read a simple story on her own. And that day, she made a decision. She decided to learn how to read and write. Yes, at the age of 62. After this incident, she makes a strong decision to learn the Kannada alphabet starting the very next day. She sets Saraswati Puja as her deadline, determined that on that auspicious day, she will be able to read a novel all by herself. From the very next day, the author began teaching her grandmother. She soon discovered that the grandmother was an intelligent and hardworking student. With great dedication, she completed her homework regularly and gradually learned to read, repeat, write, and recite with confidence. When the Dasera festival arrived, the writer secretly bought Kashi Yatri, which had been published as a novel by that time. Suddenly, her grandmother bent down and touched her feet. The author was shocked, as elders never touched the feet of youngsters, and she felt that her grandmother had broken tradition. However, her grandmother gently explained that she was not touching the feet of her 12 years old granddaughter, but of a guru, as it was the custom that a teacher deserves respect regardless of age or gender. She further added that her granddaughter was a loving and patient teacher who had taught her so well that she could now read any novel confidently. In this way, the author had helped her grandmother become confident and independent. The story ends on an emotional note as the writer presents the book to her grandmother, who proudly reads the title Kashi Yatri by Triveni on her own.